Hello, friends. Welcome to today's daily devotion. I'm Kerry Wood, the pastor of the Goldston Methodist Church in Goldston, North Carolina. And today we're reading Romans chapter 9, verses 16 through 21 as we begin to learn more about what God is up to when it seems God is weak and God is ineffective. And we find out that's not the case at all. Hear now these words, Romans 9, 16 through 21. So then, all depends not on human wishes or human efforts, but on God's mercy. In Scripture, again, it is said to Pharaoh, "It was for this purpose that I raised you to the throne, to show my power by my dealings with you, and to make my name known throughout the world." So then, where God wills, he takes pity. And where he wills, he hardens the heart. Perhaps you will say to me, how can anyone still be blamed for who withstands his purpose? I might ask rather, who are you who are arguing with God? Does a thing which a person has molded say to the person who has molded it, "Why did you make me like this?" Has not the potter absolute power over the clay, so that out of the same lump they may make one thing for better and another for common use? Questioning God is different than questioning ourselves. Questioning one another can lead to answers and strategies and solutions, but questioning God only leads to frustration and confusion and potentially to rejection of God. God is so much more than us. That's what Paul is trying to explain here. God is the creator and we are the created, and so God's will prevails over human will. And God's will runs through all of time, all of eternity. Let me ask you this question. Can your will last longer than you're alive? Did your will exist before you were born? Of course not. So it all boils down to the eternal God and the eternal God's mercy. God's choice to love when there is no love, to forgive and to restore where there is only recrimination and brokenness. God's wrath is simply the reaction of holiness meeting profanity. Profanity is the opposite of holy. And so when the profane meets the holy, God's wrath is the result. Now, I'm a science fiction nut, and Star Trek is one of my favorite stories in science fiction, and they have the matter-antimatter engines that drive their warp core, so what allows them to go faster than the speed of light, because when matter and antimatter come together, they release this tremendous amount of energy. Well, my friends, that's a great analogy for us to understand God's holiness, our profanity, that drives the engine of God's wrath, and it is only through the withholding through Jesus that we are able to experience God's holiness without being destroyed. Not because God is angry, but because God is who God is, and we are who we are. God's mercy. Wow. What a wonderful thing to know. What a wonderful thing to share. So let's talk about that in our next daily devotion.